It's about 12:30 a.m., 20 minutes or so into the sold-out premiere of The Dark Knight Rises. A gunman dressed head to toe in bulletproof gear and a gas mask throws a canister of what may have been tear gas into the room through the exit door, which he'd propped open earlier after purchasing a ticket to the movie and sneaking out of the theater. The canister ignites, causing confusion among theatergoers who don't yet realize the danger they're in.
Where this popping started happening, I thought it was like fireworks or firecrackers, like someone playing a prank or a joke or something, you know. But and then some smoke started rising in the lower right corner of the theater.
Witnesses say the gunman enters the theater, first fires at the ceiling, then turns his gun on the crowd.
When he went straight from the air, he came down with his gun in my face. He was about 3 feet away from me at that point. In that instant, I honestly didn't know what to do. I was terrified.
The terror spreads. Eyewitnesses describe the gunman as, quote, calmly firing into the crowd. At 12:39 a.m., the first calls come into 911.
315 and 314 for a shooting at Century Theaters, 14300 East Alameda Avenue. They're saying somebody's shooting in the auditorium.
Police arrive within 90 seconds to soon learn that 71 people have been wounded. The cell phone video shows panicked and bloodied victims streaming out of the theater.
Look, I got shot. Look, I'm shot.
Inside, 10 people are dead.
We need rescue inside the auditorium, multiple victims. I got 7 down in theater 9. 7 down. I've got a child victim. I need rescue at the back door of theater 9 now.
2 more victims later die at the hospital, bringing the death toll so far to 12. Within 7 minutes of the first 911 call, the gunman surrenders to police. He's identified as 24-year-old James Holmes, a student in the process of withdrawing from the University of Colorado's neuroscience PhD program. Police won't speculate on a motive for Holmes, who's now in custody awaiting his first court appearance on Monday.
The Midnight Movie Massacre joins a long list of mass public murders in the U.S. and in Colorado specifically. What is going on, and what does it say about us? National security correspondent Jennifer Griffin is looking into that tonight.
The movie theater shooting in Aurora was the worst to take place in Colorado since the 1999 shooting rampage at a Columbine high school just 15 miles away. 2 teenagers killed 13 of their classmates before killing themselves. Since then, there have been more than 27 mass casualty shootings in the United States, defined by the FBI as more than 4 people killed at one time. In the vast majority of these cases, the gunman had no link to international terror groups or al-Qaeda. Most of the shooters acted alone or with an accomplice. In 2002, 2 snipers terrorized Washington, D.C. The pair of shooters had no broader affiliation. At Virginia Tech in 2007, the student who killed 32 people, most of them fellow students, was a lone wolf who then killed himself. Last year in Tucson, Arizona, Congressman Gabrielle Giffords was shot and 6 people killed by a lone gunman who was found to be schizophrenic.
It isn't that this fellow was born evil onto the planet. There's a life story here. The roots of this event reach back deep into this person's early chapters of his life story.
And more people with prior psychological problems are becoming desensitized.
Reality TV, Facebook, instant messaging, iPhones, all of it can contribute to a sense that people aren't real.
The calls for more gun control have begun. Mayor Michael Bloomberg of New York wants to hear from President Obama and Governor Mitt Romney.
No matter where you stand on the Second Amendment, no matter where you stand on guns, we have a right to hear from both of them concretely, not just in generalities. Specifically, what are they going to do about guns?
Mr. Obama has called for a ban on gun show sales without background checks, but hasn't pushed for it. Mitt Romney banned some assault weapon sales in Massachusetts, but eased other gun sales. The National Rifle Association issued a simple statement, quote, "Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims and their families. We won't have anything further to say until more facts are known."
Wong, a 41-year-old immigrant from Vietnam, often complained to friends and family about being criticized for his poor English skills. In frustration, he dropped out of language classes at Binghamton's American Civic Association, where he returned on Friday, armed with 2 handguns and wearing body armor. After blocking the back door with his vehicle, Wong walked through the front door and began firing, killing 1 receptionist, wounding another, before moving onto a classroom filled with fellow immigrants and a teacher. There, he took 12 more lives before taking his own. Omri Agal's wife, Dolores, was one of the victims.
What is it about American society that keeps turning out these kind of people? What is it about our society that keeps driving people to do things like this?
The shooting has stunned Binghamton, just as mass shootings of civilians have stunned so many communities. You remember Columbine 10 years ago, 15 dead. Then Virginia Tech 2 years ago, 32 dead. But you may not remember the shootings that left 10 dead in southeastern Alabama, or the 8 who died in Carthage, North Carolina, the 6 dead in Santa Clara, California. And now Binghamton, 4 mass shootings that have taken 38 lives in just 4 weeks' time. And that's not even counting yesterday morning's shooting of 3 police officers in Pittsburgh. It seems that no town, big or small, is immune. East Coast, West Coast, Middle America can be affected. But why? Is there more violence? And is our reaction to it changing?
Tragically, I think many Americans have become more desensitized, more numb to the mass murder, to the massacre, because it is no longer that unusual.
Howard Kurtz is media critic for The Washington Post.
That doesn't mean that everybody doesn't get a feeling in their gut when they hear that a bunch of innocent people have died at the hands of one crazy gunman. But it is no longer a story that we've never heard of before. And so there's a certain ritual to it, and we know what to expect.
And part of what we expect are expressions of condolences from our political leaders.
I am heartbroken for the families who survived this tragedy.
But that's where it all seems to stop.
I just don't think as a political issue, folks care as much about gun control right now as they do about economics. I don't think the government's making it a priority.
CBS News legal analyst Andrew Cohen says in this climate, it's not likely to happen.
The hard reality is that people are more concerned about their jobs and their 401ks and how they're going to pay for their school tuition for their kids than they are about trying to put additional restrictions on guns.
So when you look at the country overall, since 1982, 58 mass murders. 58 massacres by guns. But oh, no, of course it's not the guns, right? Except, by the way, 134 guns were possessed by those killers, and 3/4 were obtained legally. Legally. And then they say, what? There's no problem with gun laws. We just give them legal guns, and then they massacre you over and over and over again. No problem for the NRA, because then you have to buy more guns in a panic, trying to worry about protecting yourself. Here, let me give you a graph to give you a sense of the scale of this as well. In the yellow here, you will see the ones that were obtained legally in these mass shootings, the guns that were. And then the blue is unknown and green is no. You know, they always say, well, they're going to get it one way or another, even if they have to get it illegally. Yeah, but you see, they got it a lot less illegally. It would have been harder to get it illegally. Instead, they got most of it legally. All right, now, they always say, we need guns. We need as many guns and as different kind of guns as we possibly need. And besides, what difference does it make? Well, it makes a huge difference for 2 reasons. 1, semi-automatic guns are used more in these killings. And 2, they kill more people. So let's show you a graph on that. Semi-automatic handguns. You see that? By far the most used in these mass shootings since 1982. Assault weapons, second highest. Then you go to revolvers. Then you go to shotguns. So that's what we're trying to tell you to do. We're trying to say, hey, can we find a reasonable limit on semi-automatic handguns and assault rifles, because they keep getting used in these massacres where innocent civilians are killed, and more of them every single day.